Hey everybody, I want to show you this rocket stove I made. I think you're going to like it. Thanks for joining me for another video today. This one here, I'm going to show you my rocket stove I made, and I made this like 8 or 10 years ago. So a viewer recently reminded me that I had made a rocket stove with the intention to make a YouTube video on it. So we'll start off with some photographs that I saved from about 10 years ago when I was constructing it. And I'll show you all those photos and then talk about what you're seeing in the photos. Okay, this shot shows the black bucket, which is the 5-gallon bucket, and the white one is the 2.5-gallon bucket that I used. And you can see I just used some scraps of aluminum and pop riveted them, and then I put some caulking around to seal it. And then this is the inside of the bucket. I put some cardboard and hot glued some pieces of tile for decoration. The wooden square at the bottom is to center the chimney when I put the chimney in there to hold it in the middle. This is showing the front of the stove, and I put a piece of Luan on the front just to kind of give it some more rigidity because I was worried the concrete was going to bow the bucket out, and that held it nice and flat in the front. And then you can see the little notches there for the form. And this is just a shot of the hot glue gun that I used to put the tiles in for the decoration. Here's the chimney, and it's just a piece of thin-walled PVC pipe. And I didn't grease it or anything. It slid out really easily after I was done. Here's a shot of the inside with the rope I used for decoration at the bottom, some tile around the archway, and you can see where I stapled the Luan from the inside on the bucket, the bottom of the bucket, to keep it from bowing out. And then I duct taped, or I masking taped all the inside seams of everything. And here's another shot. You can see where I used masking tape to seam all the cardboard and to kind of hold it in place. I put some duct tape over the chimney to, keep concrete from going down inside. And then here it is with the remesh in it. And I used a 1x1 wire roll that I had and just cut it to fit and shaped it and made that for the concrete reinforcement inside. And in this next picture is the form I used for the firebox. It's 2 pieces of 2x4 with a piece of Luan in between, and the piece of Luan is just bigger, so it creates the slots in there that I ended up not using. And the mistake I made, I should have painted or greased the firebox form, that wood, because it did end up absorbing some moisture from the concrete, and I had a heck of a time pulling it out of there. I did manage to get it out, but it chipped the concrete a little bit around the front edge of it. So I kind of covered that up later. You'll see in the footage. But here it is, just getting ready to pour. It's all put in the firebox and everything, and yeah, it's just a shot of it ready to pour the concrete, and it's a mixture of perlite. And here it is, all poured, and I put a paint can on top of the firebox form just to hold it from floating up. And I mixed some coloring additives, some coloring agent, perlite, concrete, and mortar, and poured it, and it came out pretty good. And so now here's some footage I took about 10 years ago. I apologize, it's a little bit shaky. Hi everybody, so I wanted to show you my rocket stove I made. Show you some of the features that I came up with. And then I used 4-inch PVC in the middle, and then for the firebox I actually used a couple of 2x4s and a piece of Luan in the middle. This is one of the neat features right here, is I have a removable firebox for mine. If we can get the camera to show down in here, if you can make it out, there's these grooves. Those were the original mold, and my original plan was I was just gonna make a metal shelf that slid in there so you could have the air come in the bottom, and then put your wood up on top, and like most of the others. Problem was, when I pulled it apart, some chunks came out of the concrete here, and it's actually perlite concrete mortar. There's some coloring agent added to it. I found out mortar is good for up to 2,500 degrees, I think, something like that. The little pieces of tile I broke up and I hot glued them inside the bucket, which I lined with cardboard. pizza boxes, and then I hot glued the tile, uh, to the cardboard. So it make it a little fancier. And then of course the top here, I had a piece of 3-strand nylon rope down in the bottom of the bucket. The firebox was this is all made from scraps I had laying around, but it has this stainless steel shelf right here that slides in. This notch is way wider than it needs to be, but it was already cut into this piece of scrap that I had. Like I said, it was just scraps laying around. I've got a supply of stuff here from other projects. But anyway, so I took this piece of square channel and welded it up and made that where you can dump the ashes out real easy after you used it, and dump them out, and then it slides back into place. And then I've got this fire ring I just I made, and I riveted some brass pins on it to go down in the holes to set your pot stand on. And then I'm going to make a grate. This is too small, but just kind of show you the idea. I have a grate there where you could actually grill with this also if you wanted to. All right, I haven't fired this thing up in years. It's been out front here as a plant stand. To be honest, I kind of just forgot about it. But the neat feature about mine is right here. It has a removable firebox, so you can dump the ashes out when you get done. It takes a little bit to heat this thing up, but once you get it hot, it works really well. I had that stainless steel ring you'll see in that other footage. I don't have that anymore, but you could set your wok right inside of that ring, and got hot enough to heat up oil and fry with it. Okay. Takes a little bit to preheat it. It's got a lot of mass to it, and when you get that all nice and hot, it really starts working well. So when I first fire it up, I'll just throw in pieces in the top to kind of do the preheat for it, and then I'll just these are just pieces of bamboo I split this morning. Ideally, you want pieces a little bit longer than this, but it'll work. You just take another piece and use that to push the other stuff in once it gets going. So that kind of wraps up today's video on my homemade rocket stove I made years ago. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I kind of hope it inspires you to get out and make one for yourself. They're a lot of fun to make. I make a lot of stoves of various types, and they're just a lot of fun. And I encourage you to get out and make something like that. There's a lot of videos on YouTube on rocket stoves. You can make them out of bricks, cinder blocks, concrete blocks, then a lot of people make them out of steel. They weld up steel and make rocket stoves. I did a lot of research on rocket stoves and the principles of how they operate. And from what I've found is the chimney really needs to be insulated or have a lot of mass like mine does. I've seen some people have made them where they've used ceramic wool. You know, if they make them out of steel pipe, they'll take ceramic wool and wrap it around it, secure it with wire or something like that, you know, to help insulate it, because that pipe really needs to be hot. So if you have a rocket stove, let's say it's made out of steel pipe, and you're in a cold climate, it's not going to work to its optimum efficiency unless it's insulated. It'll work, but just not to its full potential without having either insulation or a lot of mass. Like mine, like I said in the video, takes a little while to heat up, but the hotter it gets, it still gets to where you can touch the sides. It's never gotten that hot to where I couldn't touch the sides of that stove that I made. It'll get warm, but the inside will get very, very hot, and it'll hold that heat for a while, and that makes it more efficient. From my understanding, I'm not a rocket stove expert, but I have made a lot of stoves and played around and experimented with a lot of different designs. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents. Everybody has 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. It's Sunday, and I hope you're spending time with your friends and family today and enjoying the weekend if you don't have to work. If so, I hope you have a great evening when you get home. Yeah, so leave me a comment if you have any questions about the build, or let me know about your rocket stove you're planning on building or you built in the past. I'd love to hear about it. I love getting the comments. Have a great day, everybody. This is Dave. See you in the next one.